In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too.
The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
That was Kamala Harris's first presidential campaign ad in the 2024 election. That advertisement was just a succinct version of the speeches that she has been giving over the past 3 days. I mean, it's always really helpful to your campaign when you can feature the mugshot of your opponent and compare that to the working Americans who are busting their tails day in, day out for themselves and their family. And then remind them, hey, I'm going to be a champion of the American family. She talked about an equal playing field, talking about guns, the number one killer of children in the United States, which is just a horrific fact. Reproductive rights, childcare, expanding health care, and of course, this place doesn't need a king. We already decided that. No one is above the law here. Beyonce's Freedom song, it was also playing in the background, which is actually the song that Kamala walked out to on day one of her campaign when she addressed her staff at her headquarters. And what a song. I mean, what a message. A young black female artist playing the theme song for the first black female president. It doesn't get much sweeter than that. And I mean, the song alone could win Kamala the White House. I mean, again, I kid, but Beyonce is an icon in America, especially to women and millennials and younger, myself and younger. And those are the two groups that Kamala is relying on to turn out to vote in November. And it's looking like things are already going very well for her. This next clip is from CNN, and they're talking about the boost in support from Democrats now that Kamala has taken over for Joe Biden.
Why were they doing so poorly, at least compared to 2020, among black voters and Hispanic voters? And it turns out it might have at least been partially a Joe Biden problem. So where is Harris doing? Where does Harris have more support than Biden had? Look among black voters. She's doing 8 points better than Joe Biden was in April and June, this, of course, Harris poll being in July. How about Hispanic voters? She's doing 6 points better among Hispanic voters. Now, here's the interesting thing. She's, in fact, not doing all that much better among white voters. She's only gained a point compared to Joe Biden among white voters. So she is, at least at this point, looks like she is fulfilling what a lot of Democrats were hoping, that is bringing back together that Democratic base, that diverse Democratic base that Joe Biden seemed to be lacking in, at least this time around.
And then talk through what states this might be important to.
Yeah. So, where could this be important? Where are Hispanic voters and black voters, a large portion of the population in those key swing states? Well, it's in the Sun Belt, right? Let's look among black voters, right? Nationally, they make up about 12% of the vote. In North Carolina, look at this. This, of course, is where Donald Trump was yesterday. They make up 21% of the vote. How about in Georgia? 34%. Of course, the Hispanic vote, very important in the Southwest, right? Nationally, Hispanic voters only make up 10% of all voters. But look in Arizona, 21%, Nevada, 19%. And of course, these were the states, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, that Democrats have been wanting to put into play. but the Joe Biden campaign had pretty much given up on. But given that Kamala Harris is doing better with black and Hispanic voters, they believe that they can put Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada back into play.
How does that then impact the electoral map? Because this gets to what the now Harris campaign was suggesting in this new memo, that they're re-expanding the map.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's just start out with what was basically Joe Biden's one path, right? Which was win in the Great Lake battleground states, right? Win in Pennsylvania, win in Michigan, win here in Wisconsin. But that was losing in Nevada, it was losing in Arizona, it was losing in Georgia, and of course it was losing in North Carolina, as Joe Biden did last time around. But now the Harris campaign believes, yeah, they could win this way, but they could also win in the Sun Belt. So let's say that she loses in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But she can still win. She can still get to 275 by winning in Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and, of course, North Carolina. So basically, she's providing more paths for herself. Yes, Joe Biden had a path, but it was a very narrow path. Kamala Harris's campaign believes that they can expand the map, get more paths, win in the Sun Belt here, and lose in the Great Lake battleground states, or have some combination here, right, where maybe you win in Pennsylvania, but then maybe
just because you lose Michigan doesn't mean you're going to lose Pennsylvania.
Exactly right. Just because you lose in one of the states up here, it doesn't mean game over. It means you have more opportunities. And of course, at the end of the day, this is a race for the Electoral College. It's a race to 270. And the Harris campaign believes they have more paths because they're doing better among an expanded group of voters.
Now, that's great news for Kamala Harris. I do want to point out that President Biden and the Democratic Party knew that they were going to have to work extraordinarily hard to win re-election. And so they have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the ground campaign. And so Kamala is already walking into a Democratic strategy and plan that is well in place, that is already working effectively. And her enthusiasm, the enthusiasm from the Democratic Party and America, now that she is the new Democratic presidential nominee, is just another shot in the arm to that ground campaign. If you're the guy whose mugshot was featured in her campaign ad, and you're spending all your money and all of the RNC's money on your legal expenses, you have a big problem. The ground game for the Republican Party, there are even critics like Charlie Kirk, who is one of the biggest organizers for the Republican Party, who has come out and criticized Republicans, criticized Donald Trump because all of that money from the RNC and from the Trump campaign isn't going to local representatives and state representatives. It's going to Donald Trump's lawyers. And Donald Trump's legal battles are not over. There is still so much to come. And the opposite is true with Kamala, right? Her campaign is just getting started, and there is so much to come for her and the Democratic Party. It's my estimation, and it was with Joe Biden, that he was going to crush Donald Trump in 2024, in November. Now that Kamala is in it, it's lights out for the Trump campaign and for Trump's any future plans for him having any sort of power. But I want to know what your reflections are on Kamala's first presidential campaign ad for the 2024 election. Let me know what your reflections are down in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to Reflect yet, be sure to do that so that you get my future videos about the election delivered straight to you. Thanks for watching. My name is Brendan Plank with Reflect. I'll see you in the next video.